Hi guys, welcome back to another Wardle episode, the first one of 2021. I hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good New Year considering the circumstances we're in at the moment. You would have seen in the last video I was working on the scrapyard area and the area behind the camera at the moment. However, I've kind of left that for a little bit just to get on with something else around the layout, and I've been working on this scenic section and the station behind me as well. So before we jump into what I've been up to on the layout, I thought I'd just quickly let you know that during this video I'll show you guys how you can enter the giveaway for this Flying Scotsman starter set. This has been very kindly sent to me by West Hill Wagon Works, and they've also sent a couple of other prizes as well. So keep an eye out for that this video if you want the chance to win the Flying Scotsman. So without wasting any more time, let's see what's coming up in today's episode. So before we look at what I've been working on since the last update video, I thought I'd show you over this side of the layout. As I mentioned before, not much has happened over here, but I have been working a little bit on the mechanics area. So I'm going to show you that quickly and then we'll move over to the more scenic stuff. So here's the mechanics yard before I got involved with the old static grass on the scenic stuff. As you can see, all I've done is put a bit of hard standing down. I've loosely marked out where these fence posts are going to go. And the only real bit of detail, if I move you guys to the left here. So as you can see, if you've watched my channel from the start, you'll know I did this mechanics scene. Now I've taken all the parts up from the original layout I was building all that time ago. And I've pretty much recreated it in this space here. Now the lights do run off the DR4018, but the light in the garage in the ceiling isn't connected at the moment, but I have, however, got the Sparky. So if I go onto the Z21 app, you'll see that flickering away there, and that looks quite nice once the lights have gone down, and you can just see that in the corner. But other than that, on this side, I really haven't done much at all. As I say, I've neglected it. I would like to come back to this side once I've done a bit more of the station area as well. So that's all for this side. Let's move on to the more recent stuff. So this is the section of the railway that I've been putting the most time into recently. As you can see, it's a little bit narrower than the other side. This one is around just over a foot wide, while the other side with the scrapyard is about 2 foot wide. However, I've managed to make this into, I really wanted to use this Bachmann Seamcraft viaduct piece. That was important that I fitted that in here somewhere, and obviously I needed a tunnel entrance before it goes onto the bridge. So for the static grass, I used 2mm summer the whole way across this. As you can see, there's varying patches of different colours. That's because I started mixing in some 4mm dead and some 2mm spring. There's a whole sort of array of colours just to really try and blend it and make it not look so uniform. So as you see here, there's some darker patches. It's a little bit lighter over here, and then over the far side here it gets dark again and lighter around the top. Must admit, one of the one products I did need for all of this, Martin very kindly sent me a couple of cans of, which is the WWS Static Grass Layering Spray. So I started with the basing glue, got the grass on, and then just kept spraying layer on layer, and then one final layer over the top to seal it all in. If you look here and here, you might be able to see two small patches of purple. Now this has been applied using a very fine purple fibre. It's just sprinkled on top of these two, and then using the Static Grass Layering Spray, I've sealed it in just to stop it coming off when I hoover over everything. I also made sure this time to cover up the track, because I started weathering it, forgot to put the frog tape on top just to keep it protected while I did it, and I started getting grass all over the place. So now it's all nice and clean. And you might be able to tell as well, I've started doing a little bit of weathering, nothing too drastic, but just to give that sort of used effect of the track. The last couple of details on this right hand side of the scene at the moment is this Pico speed limit sign. I've got one here which is 30, and I've got a 50 going towards the tunnel entrance. And I've also got this scale model scenery relay platform, and I've just got some Connect cabinets here, which is what I work on at work, so I thought I'd add them in. I got them off eBay for a couple of quid. Scale model scenery also sent me some wheelbarrows as well. So a huge thanks to Justin and the team over there for sending me a couple of these to get painted and chuck on the layout. I think I'm going to have one in the scrapyard, and then a couple of them will be trackside after they've been abandoned after a night of ballasting. You may also be able to see just on the right hand side here the start of the platform that I've been working on, but more of that later on in the video. So as I mentioned earlier on, Scale Model Scenery very kindly sent me 3 of their wheelbarrows. I believe they've just come out as well, so they are available on the Scale Model Scenery website. And all I've done is put a coat of Halford's plastic primer over them, and then I've given them a coat of dark grey, and then followed up with a little bit of weathering. Now there's 2 here because one is already on the layout, so I'll put a picture of that in now. And that's it, situated just by the line side hut, full of ballast. As we move over to the left hand side of this scene, some of you are probably wondering why there's a green splodge on the wall. Well, basically what the plan was for the back scene was my mum, who's quite good at art, was going to paint the entire back scene with various hillsides and skies and things. But because of lockdown and tier 4 and all that stuff, she's been unable to come and do that. So what I've done is I've just painted a sort of a green section along here, just so then when it comes to her painting it, that she's got something to work off rather than trying to paint into the bushes. So that's on there for now, so we'll just have to put up with that. Other details down this side include the trackside signs Whisper advertising board. I'm not sure whether I want to put a little light on there yet to light that up. If we look slightly higher up, you can see we've got some Scale Model Scenery cable runners, and all I've done is attach them to matchsticks, and then I've drilled a hole down and poked the matchsticks through just to give them a nice support. Then with a dab of super glue, I've started dropping some cables in. In case you're wondering why I've got cable run there, the idea is that it's run off from somewhere in the tunnel, another scene perhaps. It runs along here to this relay cabinet. It will then run underneath the track and along to the Connect cabinets down here. Throughout the layout, you may see a couple of buildings and bits and pieces that you may have seen on other projects, because when I've moved here, what I've done is just salvage as much as I can from everything else and anything I can reuse on this layout. One of these is this line side hut. And I've actually added an LED in here, so at night time you've got a light as if someone's working on something in there, or the guy's left the light on and walked away. You've also got a little dustbin at the front there. Again, another Pico speed limit, which is the 50 going towards the tunnel. And you also have one of West Hill Wagon Works' newest products, which is these line side phones. Now, if you do want to get your hands on any of the West Hill Wagon Works products or any of the Hunt's couplings that you see throughout this video, I do have a discount code now, so if you use Wardle 10 at checkout, that should get you 10% off. So just before the layout moves onto the bridge, the final scene obviously is the top of the tunnel entrance here. All I've done so far is added one Gauge Master Seafoam tree. I ordered a whole big box of them, and then I've just started picking out ones that look tree-like, Again, the layering sprays come into use, and I've just put some scatter on top of that just to get that tree looking a bit more realistic. I do plan to have a couple more up here, but at the moment this scene's quite plain other than that. I was really pleased actually with the way that I did the foliage at the front of the bridge here, as it really sort of blends the scene as if the soil has come right up to the edge of this rather than it sitting slightly further back like I did on the other side. One of my favourite angles to film at is actually this view here, which is the view from behind the tunnel just before it goes onto the lift out bridge section. And I found I've been able to get some really good photos and videos of trains passing this area here. Something else that I've done in the last couple of days actually is trim down the size of the lift out board. I found a lot of this section here was unnecessary and a lot of the section around the back was unnecessary as well. I've also redone the joins at the bridge end here, just where you can see that track cleaner. And I found the transition now is a lot smoother and it's a lot easier to get in and out as well. So all I need to do now is tidy up those wires. A couple of days ago I actually posted on my Instagram with some pictures of the railway room, and I got a lot of questions asking me about the lighting. Now, being a £20–30 lighting system, I wasn't sure it'd gain as much attention as it did, but I thought quickly for those who were interested I'd just show you quickly how my lighting around the room works. So as I mentioned before, this was around £30 on Amazon, and it comes with a controller. It gives you 12 meters of LEDs in both warm white and cool white. So that's the warm, that's the cool. And the controller allows you to give it night mode. You won't be able to see too well while it's daytime, but they're slightly illuminated. You can then get 100% cold, 100% warm, and you can even change how bright they are as well. And you can actually slowly switch between cold and warm as well, and then obviously on and off. But I just thought it's the absolute perfect lighting. It's made a huge difference to the room as well, because it kind of puts a lot more focus on the railway rather than just the lights in the ceiling. So yeah, I thought I'd show you that quickly. If I can find a link, I'll leave it in the description. Super easy to install. I've just run a power lead underneath the layout. I've used some thin pieces of wood on their side, screwed them to the plasterboard, and then just stuck the lights underneath. The final scenic area I wanted to show you guys was the station area. Now, all I've managed to do so far is kind of get a very basic sort of station area surface and the platform edging in. Again, shout out to Underground Eric for letting me have all of this platform edging for free. He had an absolute ton of it, and I know he needed some recently, and I've used it all up, so apologies for that, but it's gone to a good use. He also managed quite cleverly to get 3 tracks to sit just under this bridge. Now, it's quite tight on the inside here, but so far I've had nothing except the Stephenson's rocket chimney actually touch the top of the bridge. So other than that, it's absolutely perfect like that. It means I've got a fast line through the middle as well. I've only just added these ramps here, and once these are filled, there'll then be some form of security gate and then a path down to the relay cabinets. So some of you eagle-eyed people may have spotted this chap lurking in various locations throughout this video. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a giveaway for the Flying Scotsman starter set, and all you have to do is tell me how many times you saw this chap, not including this scene here, by clicking the link in the description, which will take you to the West Hill Wagon Works site. You just enter the number and a contact email, and you're entered into the giveaway. So like I said, all you've got to do is tell me how many times you saw this chap playing the guitar throughout the video. Get your entries in and you'll be in for a chance to win the Flying Scotsman starter set, and there will be a second prize and maybe a third prize as well of a couple of bits courtesy of West Hill Wagon Works. So like I said, link in the description. You click that, enter your email address and the number of times you think you saw this chap, not including this one, and hopefully you're a winner. See you soon. So for those of you following me along on social media will know that I've had an array of locos arrive at Wardle recently, both on loan and both to keep. I've had a selection of things that I bought myself and from AGR, and I've also had West Hill Wagon Works has very kindly lent me 3 or 4 Paul Chetter sound fitted locos as well. But I think, as you probably would have seen from the thumbnail, the 2 that stand out to me the most is the Rocket and the Ruston. So what we're going to do is have a further in-depth look at both of these. Before we go any further, I'd like to give a huge shout out to a chap called Alan. If you're watching, thank you very much. He's done a huge amount of work in getting some of these locos to the standard that they're at now, including the Rocket with the sound fitting and the Ruston. So the first thing you'll probably notice about the Ruston is that it no longer has the powered trailer behind it. That's now irrelevant. We don't need that anymore, because what Alan has fitted in here is a Stay Alive. You've got a speaker, a sound chip, and directional lights, and a cab light as well. Now, as far as we're aware, we don't know. There are, I believe, a couple of other sound fitted ones, but at current, on YouTube anyway, there are no sound fitted with directional lights and the cab light. So this is a one-of-one piece of work that he's done, and I'm so happy with it. So what we're going to do, as you can see in the background, is the Z21 app running with the DR5000, and we're just going to run through a couple of the features and a couple of the things that this soundboard has to offer. When this loco was first fitted, the chip originally had an 04 sound on it, and that's because we couldn't find a decent Ruston sound file for the loco. However, John Gay, again, if you're watching, thank you very much, very kindly paid for a Ruston sound file, as he couldn't bear the thought of this running around in a video with the complete wrong sound file. Again, huge shout out to John as well. Really appreciate you sorting that out. So between him and Alan, there's now a lovely sound file in here, and we're going to run through a couple of the functions. So first of all, you've got the directional lights. And if I change direction, you'll see that change red and white, and that's the same on both ends. You then have the startup sound. You have a horn. You actually have 4 horns, so there's number 1, here's number 2, 3, and 4. So a nice little selection of sounds there as well. You've even got a guard's whistle. The cab light runs on function 20. So not sure how well you can see it, but the cab light does light up, so at night time you can get some really nice running shots of this as well. If I was to turn the sound off, you even have the optional extra of a failed start, so let's play that. Not only is it good having the sound in there and the Stay Alive, it means that with that wagon no longer on the back, I can now use this connector to connect to other wagons without having to have a flatbed first, which then adds for more choices when it comes to running the Ruston with other rolling stock, because obviously you can't just have a flat wagon and then a carriage for something, for example. So behind it here at the moment, I've got 3 coal wagons, all from AGR. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this. He's tweaked it a few times. I've had to take it back a couple of times for him to get things just how he wants it, as long as he's happy with the piece of work that he's done. And yeah, I couldn't thank him and John enough for getting this all sorted out. So what we'll do now is start the Ruston up and send it on its way. Now, before we get onto the rocket that's just sitting there in the background at the moment, I did mention earlier that Alan had a go at fixing the DMU. Well, he's more than fixed it actually. Not only do I now have both directional lights front and back, both carriages now have a stay alive, and both carriages also have cab lights, and I'll get a shot now if I can, but even the dashboards, the desks, sorry, inside the locos light up as well. Another loco I just wanted to quickly show you before we move on to the rocket is this parcels service DPU in BR blue livery. So Alan's handiwork has once again come into action, this time with my BR blue parcel service DPU. And in this, he's added 2 iPhone speakers and a stay alive to stop the lights from flickering as well. I was actually fortunate enough to pick this up from AGR as well for £70. And the model was in almost mint condition. The only issue I had was a couple of the underside details came off, but they've just pushed straight back in. Other than that, it's an absolutely superb runner. Alan also gave it a small service as well. So the loco is running the best it possibly could, I think. And it sounds great as well. So as you would have seen from the thumbnail, we have a special visitor here at Wardle Road. Again, Alan has very kindly lent me his Triang Hornby Stevenson's rocket, and this has a stay alive in it, sound fitted, and a flickering firebox as well. He did also lend me a Wickham trolley, and I'll insert a clip of that now. What he's done here is actually really, really clever. So originally, I believe the chip for this would go inside this barrel, but if I very carefully remove the barrel head, you can see there's actually a speaker. And what he's done to hide the chip is he's actually remade the entire underframe. So now the chip sits inside the underframe here. You've got real coal, and you've also got a flickering firebox as well. But that speaker's hidden away very, very carefully there. And like the Ruston, I believe there's only maybe 2 or 3 of these sound fitted with the way he's done it as well in the country. So again, another super rare item here. They are extremely delicate. Getting it out of the box was a bit of a mean feat, but we managed to do it, and also get all the carriages out, and connecting them up was a bit of a nightmare as well. But once it's running and once it gets going, it is an absolutely superb runner. Just say it's a shame it's such a unique era that you can't sort of put them anywhere other than sort of as a fancy showpiece. But I've really enjoyed running it around, and as you would have seen throughout the video, there's been loads of running shots. So let's get the Z21 app and fire it up. So I've got the Z21 app here, and what we're going to do is firstly start with the flickering firebox. As you can see, it's nice and bright, so you don't miss it when it's going past. And then we'll put the sound on. It's got some unusual horns. You've got the cold shoveling sound effect. guard's whistle. So let's send it on its way. So as you would have seen from that shot there and the other shots in this video, the Stephenson's rocket is an incredibly good runner. Obviously, I'm not sure what it's like without the Stay Alive or any of the extra features that Alan's put in here, but this is an absolutely beautiful runner. I've had no issues with it stalling or shorting or anything over any of the point, because there's more complicated point work further around the layout. I've had no issues with that at all. The carriages run absolutely lovely, and it'll actually be sad to see this loco go because I've actually really enjoyed running this. The only issue I had was the chimney was a little bit too tall for the bridge. But other than that, it's been absolutely superb. So once again, thank you very much, Alan, for lending this to me for a couple of weeks. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed and you enjoy following the progress of the railway room and Wardle Road as it comes to life. Don't forget, if you want to enter the giveaway, you've just got to tell me how many times you saw the chap playing the guitar, and I'll leave a link to the West Hill Wagon Works form in the description. All you've got to do is put the guess and a contact email, and let me know in the comments as well if you have entered, but don't give away the number obviously, otherwise that might scupper your chances of winning. Also, I now have some 3D printed mini Miis even, available. So if you want any, let me know on either Instagram or Facebook and I'll try and get some out to you. As you can see, there's only a limited amount of them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thanks to everyone I mentioned in the video today, and a special thanks to West Hill Wagon Works for letting me do this giveaway, and hopefully we'll be working together a lot more in the future as well. So I hope everybody has an enjoyable January considering what's going on at the moment, and I will see you all in the next episode. Cheers.